What's up, guys? Ian here, coach of your Ladner Lanturn, bringing you guys our final team builder for the regular season of NCL. Week 12, taking on Lux and the Avant Heim Flugel. It's been a while since we've played a game against Lux, way back to WPL. I'm not sure how many of my viewers will actually remember that, but I did upload that entire season, and Lux was the only person to really beat me. I did lose to Sohan because he froze me, but Lux was the only person who legitimately beat me and then crushed me in playoffs when I was 1 seed and he was 8 seed. So, yeah, not really looking forward to this one, especially considering it matters a lot for my playoff chances. But we'll talk about playoffs at the end or in the battle. I haven't decided yet. Probably in the battle, because Lux wants me to sort of hurry up so that we can play. But his team consists of Urshifu Single Strike, Salamence, Rabombi, Superior, Piloswine, Armaldo, Mega Mawile, Zero Aura, Slowbro, Weezing, and Pyroar. Priority users, he's got the Urshifu with Sucker Punch, Piloswine with Ice Shard, and Mega Mawile with Sucker Punch. Hazard settings, got the Rabombi with Sticky Web, Piloswine with Rocks, Armaldo with Rocks, Mega Mawile with Rocks, and Weezing with Toxic Spikes. Removal options, it's the Salamence with Defog, Rabombi with Defog, Superior with Defog, and Armaldo with Rapid Spin. And 4 times weaknesses, Urshifu to Fairy and Salamence to Ice. He tends to rely on special Salamence, might change it up just because we work more closely together now. He helps me build a lot of my teams, so I'm trending to know more of his tendencies. You might have noticed that I've been aggressively speed creeping in a lot of my weeks. I'm not going to be aggressively creeping against Lux because I figure it's safer for me not to, just because I think that he'll either account for that or won't account for that, and so I'm just going back to my normal, which is creeping max speed things. Yeah, or sometimes just being max speed, but we'll get to that in a sec. In terms of what I'm not really expecting, I think the least likely to come is Armaldo. Everything else seems pretty good. I would be hesitant on Superior, but it's really annoying against me. Glare Spam is really aids for me to deal with. And I also have triple water, double ground, and Superior beats all of that. So Serp plus Slowbro is really solid. If I had to guess, I would say Rabombi probably isn't coming, but it also could. The two biggest problems are Urshifu and Mega Mawile, and I think Zero Aura is kind of a maybe for me. So yeah, it's between like Armaldo and Pyroar as probably the two least likely. Piloswine is also maybe meh on my list of things to come. Weezing also kind of meh. Slowbro is definitely coming 100%. It's the Cinderace check and it's a Lucario check, and it does a great job of both of those things. Salamence I think is a really big threat, and my team is pretty frail, so he can definitely run just like a spec set and just spam Hurricane over and over and over again. And then Urshifu is a massive problem because my Dark Resist just get absolutely pounded by close combat, i.e. only Darkrai, because Lucario is not really frail enough to be considered a Dark Resist. So that is what I think about his team. Now, in terms of mine, I'm running Slowking here. I had a different idea for Slowking, but it turns out that I wasn't able to run it. It's not legal. But we're Colbur Berry for the Urshifu, so I can Scald it. Ice Beam is there for the Mence. In theory, this is just a physically defensive check to Urshifu, Physical Mence, Piloswine, potentially a Mega Mawile, although meh on the Mega Mawile. I can definitely tank a hit, but it's sort of a mixed bag as my Salamence check for sure. Teleport just to get out of there, and then Toxic for his Slowbro. I'm actually running minus Speed Nature with 0 Speed EVs so that I could potentially port out after his Slowbro ports out, if there's a 1v1 situation with that involved. Gliscor, I'm running fully physically defensive. This is my Urshifu check. This is my Mega Mawile check. I mean, it's definitely a Zero Aura check. As long as I don't get my my Toxcorp knocked off. So like ideally, I'm probably switching into Urshifu, right? Because it doesn't get knockoff. Unlike Mega Mawile and Zero Aura, and I've lost my Toxcorp so many times this season. But Rocks, Earthquake, Roost, and Ice Fang. Ice Fang is just there to hit the one immunity in Salamence. I also could have run U-turn, but I figure if I'm kind of just like in on Salamence, then I'd rather just hit it super effectively, you know? Or like Superior, I can hit the Superior super effectively. I'm not really touching Weezing, but I'm not really sure there's much I can do about that one. I need to take this one at a little bit of a faster pace in terms of the game, because I can't really outlast like Slowbro, and I'm not gonna be able to his wall breakers just because they break way too easily, and my walls are not very good at walling things. Just fully physically defensive, really, with a Toxic Orb friendly HP stat, and then the rest dumped into speed for no reason whatsoever, unless there's something like bulky Salamence creeping no speed Gliscor, but he would know that I'm probably putting some in, right? Cinderace, I'm coming with heavy duty boots, court change, U-turn, Powerball, Facade. Facade is there in case I get burned by something like a Wheezing Will-O-Wisp when I court change T-Spikes or something like that, or a Slowbro Scald as I court change T-Spikes. I don't know. I just didn't need another move, really. Like, there's nothing I could really do that's going to hit Salamence better than what I can already do. And Pyroball just hits everything that's not named Slowbro and Pyroar. I could have run, like, High Jump Kick for Pyroar, but I really don't care, so I'm just running Facade instead. So, yeah, that's the idea behind the Cinderace there. I'm running enough speed to outspeed Superior. Like I said, I don't know what he's going to do with speed creeping, so I'm just playing it safer rather than more aggressively. Max attack, a little bit of HP. Boots, of course, because boots are the best item in the game. Lucario is another breaker for me this week with SD, Close Combat, Extreme Speed, and Crunch. This is actually really effective if I can get it going. I am outspeeding Modest Wheezing. So I looked at my chart and I was like, oh, I'll outspeed Mawile. And then I looked at Wheezing and I'm like, how do I get outsped by Modest Wheezing if I'm... Like, I speed time Modest Wheezing if I'm outspeeding Mega Mawile. So I just opted to outspeed Modest Wheezing. It means I can be really bulky. His speed tiers sort of let base 90s and 80s and stuff do this sort of thing where I just get to run max HP for absolutely free. I'm not running Scarf against this, so this is just, yeah, I get to do this against a lot of stuff. I'm not entirely sure what I get to SD on, but because I'm so bulky, I can maybe SD on something like Superior if I found that it doesn't have Glare or Rabombi. I can definitely SD on like a Rabombi clicking Moonblast or something. Because E-Speed is going to do a lot to a lot of things here. I considered Bullet Punch, but Extreme Speed is just stronger against everything else, and particularly against the Zeraora. It's more beneficial for me to have E-Speed when Bullet Punch is resisted. Crunch is there only for the Slowbro. That's literally it. Close Combat. I mean, I guess I would click it against Wheezing probably too. Close Combat just dents absolutely everything, and I'm hoping to be in a position to just click Extreme Speed against most of this team. So that's Lucario. Gardevoir, there is very poor switch-ins to as well. Gardevoir is a really good lead matchup for me, in my opinion. I'm bulky enough because I don't really need the special attack investment to just dent some Pokemon on this team for Lucario to clean later. And I didn't really need more than 3 moves. So I've got Mystical Fire to hit the Mawile, Psychic to hit the Wheezing, and then Hyper Voice hits absolutely everything else perfectly fine. Although Psychic will also hit Pyroar, I guess. That's the only other thing. But Hyper Voice hits everything else perfectly fine for me. I could opt into Heal Bell over Calm Mind. I actually kind of like that better. I don't really need Calm Mind. So Calm Mind is a thing, though, right? Because like, if I get up a Calm Mind, then I'm in a really good spot to just like dent things even more. But Heal Bell could be really nice if this is like Glare. If this is Glare Serp. So I think I am just going to switch it to Heal Bell. Running max speed to speed time, max speed Salamence, which I would also expect him to bring. And then I'm running max HP with a tiny bit of special attack investment. It really doesn't matter. The bulk is a lot more important than special attack investment in this one, because I don't need it to 2-hit KO a lot of, pretty much the entire team actually. I don't think I need it to 2-hit KO anything, bar maybe AV Slowbro, which could definitely be a thing. I don't think it is. I think he'd rather punish like Cinderace a little bit harder, but it could definitely be AV Slowbro for sure. And then last up on the team is Golurk, which actually has a pretty good offensive matchup here, I think. It hasn't really had a great one the entire season, but it's pretty good. I actually wouldn't be surprised if it's not Levitate Wheezing either, if it's like neutralizing Gas Wheezing. He likes bringing Corrosive Gas to get rid of items, so I'm a little bit worried about that. I'm Rindo Berry so that I can tank a Leaf Storm from Superior, in theory. Serp is weak enough that Leaf Storm's high base power shouldn't mean that I'm just outright one-shot with the Rindo. I believe I calced it at some point, but the Rindo is also there for Grass Knot on Zeraora. It's really up to him if he wants to go with Knockoff or Grass Knot. I think if I'm him, I probably do run Knockoff, but I want the Rindo Berry for the Serp in case I have to be in that sort of situation. I was originally going with Band, but This is a good enough wall breaker to get through Slowbro. So the thing is that Poltergeist just demolishes this team. There's nothing he can really do about Poltergeist. And then Ice Punch hits the Salamence and the Superior. Earthquake is there for the Zero Aura. And then Dynamic Punch is there primarily for the Urshifu. Just because it needed something to hit the Dark typing there. But it can also hit the Pillow-Swine. And with no guard, I'm guaranteed to hit it every single time. So I am also outspeeding Modest Wheezing. I have it outspeeding Mega Mawile, but I am actually outspeeding Modest Wheezing with this as well. I adjusted the speed so that it's also outspeeding Modest Wheezing just like Lucario is. I don't know if it can go down to 220 though. Oh, can. Okay, perfect. Means we can get some HP in there. Extra HP instead of the defense investment. So that is what I'm bringing. In terms of what I'm not bringing, Darkrai is always a look in my builds, but I didn't think the Darkrai matched up super duper well against this team. It may or may not force Scarf Urshifu, but it doesn't really get like coverage to punish Urshifu, so I don't think that it has to be Scarfed either. Empoleon is really bad here. It's like my only switch into Hurricane Salamence, but also it loses to Zero Aura, Urshifu, and Pillow-Swine. And Mega Mawile, and it doesn't beat Slowbro. So, I don't know. There's a few things with Empoleon. I was definitely considering Vikavolt. Vikavolt's a solid bring. Did not bring it, though. Quillfish, another Pokemon that I thought could have been okay. May or may not force Mawile to run something like Thunder Punch. I'm not sure. It's probably up to him. He could probably run, like, get away with, like, Play Rough, Sucker Punch, Ice Punch, Thunder Punch, like just 4 attacks Mawile. That's probably fine against my team. And then Glaceon actually probably could have been okay. Glaceon doesn't look half bad, but I just didn't feel like I had the room for it. So that's the team. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys for the match against Lux and the Avant Heim Flugel.